I've done it all. Why not just go have fun? I can't. That's not who I am. I'm here because, quite honestly, I can't find clothes to wear. I never wanted to be a designer. It was not my intention at all. My mother was in fashion, my father was in fashion, and I grew up on 7th Avenue. I was always interested in the arts. I really wanted to be an artist. And I would never sign up for school because all I wanted to do was paint and draw and kind of play around like that. I hung out in the art department and I had my first fashion show. It was a jumpsuit, of course, cold shoulders, very slanted. I'd be wearing it today. God only knows when I've looked at the runways today, it's walking down the runway. So really, fashion doesn't always really change as much as we think it does. You know, the body's the body, and hemlines go up and down, but it does circle around. But it shocks me to know that I designed Anne Klein longer than Anne Klein. My bosses at the time, Frank Mori and Tomio Taki. Tomio had just bought Anne Klein 6 months before she passed away. So here's a man, amazing man, coming from Japan, investing into Anne Klein, and then Anne Klein passes away, and I'm the only one there. And they anoint me the head. As a 25-year-old girl, that was kind of like a little crazy. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but that's not how things get planned. What you think you want is not exactly the way it comes out. Well, sure enough, here I am. I was in the hospital giving birth, and they said, well, when are you coming back to work, Donna? I said, I just had a baby. She says, well, we have a collection due tomorrow. And I say to the doctor, can I go back to work? And he said, Donna, you just had a 10-pound baby girl. You're not going back to work. He said, you have no idea the pain you're going to be in. Regardless. I said, oh, don't worry about that. I have my sewers in town. We can worry about that. And sure enough, I had to go back to work. I still today feel like the guilty working mom. You know, there are certain things in life you can't let go of. I know it sounds so silly today, but I do feel that I wasn't home that first week, the second week. But I made sure I drove home every single night to make sure that I gave her dinner. I had to cook the dinner. It was really important to me. And then I put her to sleep every night. When I met Stephen never wore a blazer. Stephen didn't own a blazer. Stephen was jeans, t-shirt. I had no idea that Stephen was who Stephen was. Yeah, he was an artist. He was the hottest, ponytailed, coolest artist I knew. I fell in love with an artist. I did not fall in love with a partner in business. That was the shock. I had no idea. And when I left Anne Klein, Stephen said to me, Donna, don't worry, we'll be able, and I am crying so bad. I said, Stephen, how can I leave? I'm Anne Klein. How could I start this thing called Donna Karen? I'm not even her. You know, I don't want to start my own business. He says, Donna, you'll be fine. I said, all I want is a little teeny business for me and my friends. He says, don't worry, I'll be by your side. We'll do it together. And Stephen was always by my side. But we knew there was a line. We could not do anything together because we were two very, very strong people. It was my way and his way. And in the houses that we built, he was the architect, I was the decorator. I never crossed that line. So when Stephen decided to go to business with me, he did all the business and I was the creative person. The reason I started Donna Karen, I wanted to design a collection for me and my friends. So I had this idea because what I really wanted to have was 7 easy pieces of clothing. We shot it for Women's Wear Daily on 7th Avenue, and it was a navy blue blazer, a pair of jeans, white shirt, poplin jumpsuit, trench coat, and it must have been a sweater. And those were the pieces. The reason I used New York is because what did Donna Karen mean? It really didn't mean much. So I said I needed something to balance out my name, and I saw a shoebox that said Maud Vuitton, Paris, London. I said, well, what about Donna Karen, New York? And I called Peter Arnell at the time, and I said, Peter, what do you think of Donna Karen, New York? He says, that's the worst idea I've ever heard of. I said, why is it so bad? He says, what are people in LA gonna think? I said, Peter, New York means the world. I said, it's all about the world. And at that time, New York did mean the world. People couldn't afford a $49 jacket in those days. So we had to come up with something less expensive. And DKNY was launched, and that took off like crazy. So from Donna Karen to DKNY to, my husband told me I had to do fragrance. And I go, I don't like fragrance, honey. He says, be quiet, you're doing fragrance. And at night, he used to make all the fragrances in my bedroom. He made the bottles, he made the fragrances, he did everything. He was my partner in crime. He was brilliant. My husband was an artist. Stephen was an artist. Artists do it by themselves, independently. Stephen could be in this studio for months at a time. A designer needs so many pieces of the puzzle. That's a designer. You know, we're putting it all together, and our pattern makers are doing all the patterns, and the fabric people are doing all the fabric. But an artist has a piece of canvas and his paint. This is a business. Fashion design is a business. We dress, and what I call a dress. Because I'm not only dressing a customer, I'm addressing the customer. You know, and that is really what compelled me to be in philanthropy and commerce. Fashion is the street. We inspire the street, and then the street talks back to us. I think what we need to do is not think of ourselves, but as a designer, it's the customer. She's the one who's wearing it. Where is she at? What do they want? You know, we could design all these things all day long as designers, but is it gonna sell? How are they gonna feel about it? The beauty of being a woman is our heart. We feel, we see, we have our instincts. We create. We're the creative people, children. Women do make the change. Women are the change makers. There is a change happening right now that's far bigger than fashion. The fashion today is to be aware. Conscious consumerism. I'm Donna Karen, and yes, I'm turning 70, and it's all just beginning.